It's been over a month since the Caribbean island nation of Cuba has been under a U.S.-imposed energy blockade. The island is being starved of fuel. And the result is that Cuba's once lauded healthcare system is on the verge of collapse. President Donald Trump recently declared Cuba an unusual and extraordinary threat to American national security. The U.S. cut off Venezuelan oil supplies to Cuba back in December, when Venezuela was blockaded by American warships before the abduction of Nicolas Maduro. Since Maduro's capture, the U.S. has threatened tariffs against any country supplying fuel to Cuba. This has thrown the island nation into darkness, and the power cuts have taken a toll on Cuba's hospitals.
At this moment, the hospital is working under emergency protocol. The power went out a few minutes ago. Fortunately, the generator worked well.
Cuban hospitals are facing frequent power cuts, and they are running out of fuel to power their backup generators. There is not enough fuel to keep ambulances running. Cuba's health minister says that 16,000 people with cancer need radiotherapy. Another 12,400 need chemotherapy. Their lives depend on steady electricity and operational ambulances.
It is not just a matter of economic pressure. We are facing an energy siege with direct implications for the lives of Cubans, for the lives of Cuban families. It is not rhetoric to say that this situation can put lives at risk, the lives of Cubans at risk.
Cuba has free universal health care. There are no private hospitals or clinics in the island nation. Cuba has a high doctor-to-patient ratio, and it has historically had a lower infant mortality rate than the U.S. But the latest energy blockade, coming after half a decade of economic crisis, threatens to shatter Cuba's famous healthcare sector. To try and prevent the collapse, Cuba is gradually installing solar panels at clinics. The state is prioritizing hospitals that care for children and the elderly. But will the solar panels come up in time before fuel completely runs out?
En estos momentos estamos funcionando en el hospital en emergencia, teniendo en cuenta que el fluido eléctrico del suministro de la calle falló hace unos minutos. Por suerte el grupo electrógeno funcionó bien.
No se trata únicamente de una presión económica. Estamos ante un cerco energético con implicaciones directas. No es retórica afirmar que esta situación puede poner la vida en riesgo, la vida de los cubanos en riesgo.
La única situación que se tiene es con la comida. No hay pan, no hay leche, hay faltante de cosas en el materno para la alimentación nuestra.
¿Qué pasa? Que hay un compromiso muy grande con nuestros pacientes, con nuestra profesión, y eso hace que cada día nos levantemos a pesar de todas esas dificultades y vengamos a afrontar, bueno, la tarea por la que vivimos prácticamente, ¿no? Porque esta también es nuestra casa.
This incident reflects the claims we're seeing across the country. Protesters who say it's the ICE agents initiating physical contact.
Tara and Denise were at the entrance of a Homeland Security complex last Thursday night in Phoenix, the site of protests in recent weeks.
They were all standing there and we were yelling, and the one smacked the megaphone out of my hand.
Come back! Oh, really? Did you just hit me?
Nothing really happened. I was more in shock, and I was like, are you serious? Like, did you really just do that? So, of course, I kept yelling at him. And he smacked it again. This time, it hit Denise in the side of her face.
Right here. Ow! Are you serious? I'm calling 911 right now.
Then, a third time, the agent strikes.
Shoot someone in the street, you little...
So quickly thereafter, he did it again, and it hit her and busted her lip open, and her lip was bleeding.
Another ICE agent appears to pull back his colleague. The women filed a complaint against ICE with the state attorney general and are asking Homeland Security to investigate the agent.
They should expect the agency to do an investigation.
Retired Police Sergeant Paul Brown has taught courses on police tactics and says the video alone does not show the ICE officers' actions are justified.
if a physical threat is made against an officer or an officer is assaulted in any way, then that officer would be totally justified.
He says if the women were trespassing, an arrest might be warranted. The protesters were standing in a parking lot of the Attorney General's office, which is state property. It connects to federal property where ICE agents come and go. ICE's local office agreed to look at our video. They have not responded to questions about the incident. Brown says ICE not acknowledging that these clashes should be investigated hurts public trust.
I'm very disappointed in what I've seen in ICE thus far.
In January, ICE agents detained a father, Adonai Rodriguez, only steps outside of his apartment. His 6-year-old daughter, Annabella, was alone at their home, unaware that her father had just been taken. He's currently being held at the Elizabeth Detention Center in New Jersey, and I had a chance to speak to Annabella about her experience.
My dad is not coming back, and I miss him, and his not coming back. And I cried. And my voice got louder. And then I went downstairs. I got some boots, and then I got changed because I only have shorts.
So what made you do that? You said, I'm going to go get some boots. I got to change my clothes. Why did you do that?
I found some help. I just find some help to find my dad.
When did you realize, well, maybe something went wrong?
Because it was taking too long.
He was taking a long time?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody came back?
Nobody.
At least 3 people were injured following the explosion of a suspicious package at the National Zondarmare Academy in central Buenos Aires. Authorities say the incident prompted the evacuation of the building and an emergency operation was put into effect. According to the Buenos Aires City Police, 2 people were hospitalized with burn injuries but are out of danger, while another was treated for smoke inhalation. An official statement says the device reportedly received and stored months ago detonated while being handled inside the premises. Firefighters, police and bomb disposal teams rushed to the scene, which was cordoned off as authorities assessed additional risks. Local reports suggest the recipient of the parcel was likely a former director of the school who retired 4 months ago. Argentina's National Zondarmare is a federal security force responsible for guarding borders, protecting strategic sites and supporting internal security operations across the country.
וסיכמנו עם ידידינו בארצות הברית, לא יהיה שיקום הרצועה לפני פירוז הרצועה. אם האייתולות יטעו ויתקפו אותנו, הם יחוו תגובה שהם אפילו לא יכולים להעלות בדעתם.
Tensions is rising again between Iran and United States, and this time the words are strong, very strong. Iran says US is spreading lie about the nuclear program, and Tehran claims that Washington never asked for a zero uranium enrichment in the current talks. Now Iran feels like a story is being twisted. Iran's top diplomat Abbas Araghchi spoke very clearly. He said some headliners in the Washington and Tel Aviv are pushing for conflict. Well, but he warned them that he said there is no military solution to it. According to Iran, bombing nuclear sites will not stop its program, and targeting scientists will not erase the knowledge. And Iran says its nuclear program cannot be destroyed by force. Araghchi also warned something bigger. He said if false claims continue, it could actually lead to catastrophic war. And it is a very serious message. Iran says it is open to diplomacy, and it says it's ready to talk, but it will not give up what it calls as the nuclear sovereignty. And Tehran says it is the right to peace nuclear energy. Well, the United States and its allies have long worried Iran could move closer to building a nuclear weapon, and Iran denies it. It says its programs are only for the energy and researchers. Well, now the big question is, can talks continue peacefully, or will pressure from both sides push the region closer to the conflict? Well, the Middle East is already tense, and any mistake could trigger a larger crisis. But for now, Iran is drawing a clear line. It says it will defend itself, It says threats will not work, and the world is watching closely. Because if diplomacy falls, the cost could be huge.